Hello, Phoenix Physics students. This is Robert Austin, your facilitator for Physics 101, and I'm giving you a brief tour of the course to help you avoid some of the pitfalls that students encounter during the first week of this class. So, first thing to do, I suppose, is look at the course syllabus. I'm not going to dwell on this. Most important thing, I think, is just to look at the bottom. This summarizes what's due every week. So every week there's an interactive overview, there's a discussion, and there's an assessment exercise based on a simulation that you're asked to do. And note the days and times when things are due there, okay? So that's so what I want to say about the syllabus. Let's go into the first week's module. You probably want to introduce yourself to the class. This is completely optional. You don't have to do this. You're not graded on it. You can say as much or as little as you like. And, these are some suggested things to say, but I also would like to know why you're at the University of Phoenix. What are your career aspirations? That's of great interest to me. So I'd like to know about that if you don't mind telling me. Probably one of the earliest things to get out of the way and one of the easiest things to do, I think, is the interactive overview. It only takes a minute or two of your time. By the way, sometimes students complain to me they don't see the button down here for viewing the assessment. If that's the case for you, it's probably a problem with your browser. Blackboard doesn't work well with some browsers. So if this seems to be an issue, I recommend you use Chrome. I've never had any issues with conflicts between Chrome and Blackboard. So keep that in mind. So this just asks you by Thursday to give me some kind of feel for how you think you're doing, okay? So, after you've read the reading assignment and maybe started on an assignment or complete an assignment, you get a sense of how things are going for the week. You can tell me how you feel. I'm the facilitator. I should feel very confident. So I'm going to say that. And why do I feel so confident? Well, it should be obvious, right? I'm the facilitator. Make sure that once you've done this, if you think you have more to say later, you can always save and close it and come back later. But at some point by Thursday, you should submit it. Otherwise, I can't see it. So make sure you've submitted it. And you can also download a confirmation of it, and it will email a confirmation as well. Okay. Well, let's get back to the module. Okay, week 1 module. There we go. Probably you would like to know where your reading assignment is. So I've had courses where I've gotten into the third week and students are asking me, am I supposed to buy a book or where's the reading? Well, it's right here, okay? Each week we read a chapter from the book. There's the link. It's a PDF. Okay, there it is. And you see it's very conceptual. There's little or no math to worry about. Sometimes you'll see a formula, but it's only for those who might be able to appreciate the formula. If you know a little math, at least high school algebra, then that helps your appreciation of the topic, but it's not necessary. So don't worry about it if you see something that you don't understand. It's mostly words. Okay. So that's your reading assignment. Each week we do a chapter. We do them in order. We read the first 5 chapters, 1 through 5 of the 6-chapter book. All right. Well, if you've read it, you don't have to read it in detail. You can skim it just to get a sense of what he's talking about for the current week. And then work on your discussion. Note here There are due dates given, but there's also in brackets a day that's before the due date, what this is indicated as the due date. So, they want this by Thursday. Also, they want something by Thursday for the discussion topic. So let's click on the discussion. Okay, so due Thursday. By Thursday, if you want full credit, you have to respond with a minimum of 175 words to these questions, okay? I don't focus too much on content. I read what you've posted, and if I get a sense that you've tried to address these questions to the best of your ability, you'll get full credit on content. I start knocking out points if you're late. If you post after Thursday, you start losing some points. If you don't post at least 175 words, I take off a few points. So get that response in by Thursday. Now, by Thursday, ideally, or after Thursday, all students will have posted a response to the discussion topic. Now, it's up to you to read other students, your other classmates' responses, and reply to some of them. So at least two of them. Post a reply by the end of the week, which would be Monday. So in terms of dates, and we're speaking in terms of Phoenix time. So by midnight, Thursday, Phoenix time, Thursday being April 27th, you should post your response. By Monday, and that would be, May 1st. Okay, so by midnight, Monday, Phoenix time, May 1st, you should have replied to at least two of your fellow classmates' responses. And you can count me as a classmate. I reply to a lot of the responses, and you can reply to my reply. And that'll count. There is a rubric here. You might want to look at it, see how things are graded. You see that promptness is important. 40% is based on you being on time. 10% is on word count, so that's not quite as important. 25% is in content, but like I told you, unless you really ignore what's being asked here and you tell me something random, you'll get full credit there. And then your two replies make up 25% of the total grade. Okay. The two replies, I don't count the words, by the way. A rule of thumb is 75 words at least, but like I said, I don't count the words. Just make sure you write incomplete sentences and you actually address something that the student said in their response. So it's substantive. Okay, and then in terms of points, the most important assignment is a simulation. So you have an assessment based on a simulation. You write an essay, 260 word minimum. If you use less than 260 words, again, I don't really count words, but if you go less than 260 words, then probably you haven't addressed everything I'm asking for. Look at these numbered points here, and actually 1 through 6 are content related. Okay, so tell me what you did in your own words, a brief description of the procedure. What did you observe briefly? Some questions, at least one question should come to mind. So ask a question, something that was stimulated in your mind with respect to what you're doing in the simulation, okay? And relate your observations to a couple of ideas from your reading and cite that. So you say something like, on page 11, Feynman spoke about this topic and it relates to what I observed in this way, excuse me. And then tell me what the simulation taught you about atomic motion. So kind of summarize what you learned about atomic motion by doing the simulation. And give me key words so I know you're answering this, like, while doing the simulation, I learned this about atomic motion, and then tell me what it was. List your references. One of the references should be 6 Easy Pieces by Richard Feynman. Okay, so give me a proper reference. One one reference at the end of your essay to the textbook. Okay, I know that you reference the textbook, but I want to see it written down. Okay, if you used any other references like Wikipedia or something, also list that as a reference. Check your spelling, punctuation. So proofread what you did, and you're in college, so try to write at the college level. Here's the rubric. The rubric is really, I distilled these points from the rubric, but if you want to see the percentage value for each portion, you can see it here, and you can expand the rubric to see how things are graded, right? The actual instructions are shown here. You can click on it. It downloads a document, a Word document. If you don't see it down here, like I always do in Chrome, you can go to your downloads folder and open it and follow the directions, okay? And this is a link to the simulation. So just follow the directions and you'll be fine. All right, and then lastly, I've scheduled a live meeting for this Friday, 6 p.m. Phoenix time. It's an optional meeting. You don't have to attend. I know many of you are busy, but if you can, please do. It's your best opportunity to ask me questions. I will record the meeting and provide a link to the recording, but I promise you that I hold a much better meeting if I have an audience. So if no one shows up, I'm just going to give you a link to an old recording that I made in another class where I did have some students show up. So please, if you can, try to show up. It's an hour-long meeting, and it's 6 p.m. Phoenix time on Friday. If you don't know what that is in your time zone, click on the link. It'll tell you I live in the Eastern time zone, so it says 9 p.m. for me on Friday, 28th. If you're in a different time zone, it'll show you a different time. And you can join up to 15 minutes early. I do recommend that you try, by 8:50 or so, or I should say 5:50 Phoenix time, right? Trying to join because it asks you to test your microphone, your camera, stuff like that. So make sure you're set up right. That's the basics that I wanted to cover. Make sure you check your announcements. I make weekly announcements, and some of them are video announcements, and those will be shorter than this, usually 1 or 2 minutes. And do watch them. I do try to remind you of things that I consider are important. And also, you can contact me through messages. Sometimes I might send you a message. So make that part of your routine. Click on messages, see if anything's there. And if you want to send me a message, just click on the plus sign and send it to me. All right. I've taken up enough of your time. If you have any further questions, remember, Friday, live meeting. I'll be there. I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.